Now the Lord appeared to him in the plains of Mamre, and he was sitting at the entrance of the tent when the day was hot, and he lifted his eyes and saw, and behold, 3 men were standing beside him. And he saw, and he ran toward them from the entrance of the tent, and he prostrated himself to the ground. And he said, My lords, if only I have found favor in your eyes, please do not pass on from beside your servant. Please let a little water be taken, and bathe your feet, and recline under the tree. And I will take a morsel of bread and sustain your hearts, and afterwards you shall pass on, because you have passed by your servant. And they said, So shall you do, as you have spoken. And Abraham hastened to the tent to Sarah, and he said, Hasten 3 seah of meal, fine flour, knead and make cakes. And to the cattle did Abraham run. And he took a calf, tender and good, and he gave it to the youth, and he hastened to prepare it. And he took cream and milk and the calf, and he had prepared, and he placed them before them, and he was standing over them under the tree, and they ate. And they said to him, Where is Sarah, your wife? And he said, Behold, in the tent. And he said, I will surely return to you at this time next year. And behold, your wife Sarah will have a son. And Sarah heard from the entrance of the tent, and it was behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah were old, coming on in years. Sarah had ceased to have the way of the women. And Sarah laughed within herself, saying, After I have become worn out, will I have smooth flesh? And also my master is old. And the Lord said to Abraham, Why did Sarah laugh, saying, Is it really true that I will give birth although I am old? Is anything hidden from the Lord? At the appointed time I will return to you at this time next year, and Sarah will have a son. And Sarah denied, saying, I did not laugh, because she was afraid. And he said, No, but you laughed. And the men arose from there, and they looked upon Sodom, and Abraham went with them to escort them. And the Lord said, Shall I conceal from Abraham what I am doing? And Abraham will become a great and powerful nation, and all the nations of the world will be blessed in him. For I have known him, because he commands his sons and his household after him, that they should keep the way of the Lord, to perform righteousness and justice, in order that the Lord bring upon Abraham that which he spoke concerning him. And the Lord said, Since the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah has become great, and since their sin has become very grave, I will descend now and see whether, according to her cry, which has come to me, they have done. I will wreak destruction upon them, and if not, I will know. And the men turned from there and went to Sodom, and Abraham was still standing before the Lord. And Abraham approached and said, Will you even destroy the righteous with the wicked? Perhaps there are 50 righteous men in the midst of the city. Will you even destroy and not forgive the place for the sake of the 50 righteous men who are in the midst? Far be it from you to do such a thing as this, to put to death the righteous with the wicked, so that the righteous should be like the wicked. Far be it from you. Will the judge of the earth, will the judge of the entire earth not perform justice? And the Lord said, If I find in Sodom 50 righteous men within the city, I will forgive the entire place for their sake. And Abraham answered and said, Behold, now I have commenced to speak to the Lord, although I am dust and ashes. Perhaps the 50 righteous men will be missing 5. Will you destroy the entire city because of 5? And he said, I will not destroy it, if I find there 45. And he continued further to speak to him, and he said, Perhaps 40 will be found there. And he said, I will not do it for the sake of the 40. And he said, Please let the Lord's wrath not be kindled, and I will speak. Perhaps 30 will be found there. And he said, I will not do it if I find 30 there. And he said, Behold, now I have desired to speak to the Lord. Perhaps 20 be found there. And he said, I will not destroy for the sake of the 20. And he said, Please let the Lord's wrath not be kindled. and I will speak yet this time. Perhaps 10 will be found there. And he said, I will not destroy for the sake of the 10. And the Lord departed when he finished speaking to Abraham. And Abraham returned to his place.